What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be taking a look at a Masterverse Princess of Power Leech with 30 points of articulation. As you can see, we've got really cool artwork on the outside of the box. We got Leech over here. It looks like we got Catra over here with the cat. That would be a cool figure to get in the line. We haven't got Catra's cat. We did get a Catra figure, though. Leech looking really cool, though. Love this box art. The new style of boxes is really growing on me. I don't mind the little window anymore because we've got this really cool artwork on the outside. As we turn it around to this side, we can see like a profile and mug shots of Leech looking, again, extra cool. They did a really good job on his artwork. I'm really impressed with how much detail they put into his actual little figure here. I think it's great. On the back, we've got the big picture of Leech. He's got him posed up with his bowcaster and his whip-like thing. It says, Leech, evil master of power suction, a product of evil horde science. Leech terrorizes Ethereans with his energy-draining hands. Also available in the line, we have Thunder Punch He-Man, who is on the way. He should be here any day, actually. Emperor Hordak and Cyclone. I've still got to get these two. They are not on the way yet, but I've got to get them ordered. As I said in my toy hunt video, working with a little bit of a budget crisis right here, so I've got to slow it down a little bit on the figures, but I will be picking these two up pretty soon. This side of the box, as you can see, we've got Adora, and it looks like Grizzlor over here. So really cool box art, really cool figure. Let's go ahead and get him pulled out. On a quick side note, before we pull them out, we are also going to be unboxing and pulling this guy out of the package, just so we can kind of do a little bit of part swapping in comparison with this Leech Origins figure. So I'm going to go ahead and get him pulled out of the box as well. First things first, though, we're going to get the Masterverse guy pulled out. All right, on the back of his card, we've got some really cool artwork up here at the top. It says, modernizing and celebrating the original 80s Masters of the Universe action figures. Masters of the Universe Origins gives you the power to pose Eternia's greatest warriors as retro-style figures or in a new action-packed battle positions. Includes comic book. Leech's energy-draining suction brings even Eternia's mightiest to their knees. And then it says, which was new for 22, no longer. We had He-Man, Snoutspout, Mantenna, Leech, the Roton came out, Pighead, and Skeletor. All of these guys are up on the channel for review, except for Leech and Mantenna. We're doing Leech today. Hopefully we'll get to Mantenna next. And actually, this version of Skeletor right here, we still have to do. So look forward to all those unboxings. Subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on so you get alerted to when these come out. And then in the playlist tab, you should be able to click on the Origins tab to find the Origins unboxings. The Masterverse tab will bring you to the Masterverse unboxings, such and so forth. So here we have the two Leeches pulled out of the box. I'm going to go ahead and get them set up with some of their accessories, and we're going to take a closer look. All right, so first we're going to check out Masterverse Leech. Here he is set up with all of his accessories. Really cool looking bowcaster. It looks like they did some extra sculpting on this. It just looks a little bit nicer than some of the other ones. I really like the head on this bowcaster. And then his little like retractable whip with the little, it's got a Hordak face here on it, and it just kind of clips onto his wrist there. So really cool accessory. I'll go ahead and swoop his arms down and we'll go over his articulation now. So his head can look up pretty good. It can look down to about there. Those big jaws kind of get in the way. You can look to the left. You can also look to the right, as well as flip it all the way around. This head does feel a little bit loose, but it's not too bad. It does seem to hold position, so I'm not going to complain about it. It holds position. It's just a little bit looser than some of the other heads. As far as his arms, they will rotate all the way around. He can go all the way out to the cross-like position. Both arms are going to be the same. He does have a, I'm going to pull this off just so we can see better. We'll get some of these accessories out of the way. So he does have a double jointed elbow, so he can get pretty good articulation there. Bends all the way up. His wrist will spin all the way around, as well as hinge. At this point right here, you can bend it in and you can bend it back out. So if you kind of want to get him looking like the old Leech with the suckers out, something like that, it will work for you. And it looks pretty cool. We did not get any additional hands with this figure, which I think would have been cool to get some additional hands as well. But what we got was pretty significant, I guess. We got both the whip and the bowcaster, so not too bad when it comes to that. He does have some really cool armor here up on his shoulders. Probably going to keep that on, even though it's not going with the vintage character. I just like the addition of that gold up on the shoulders there. As we come down to his torso area, you can see that he can lean forward really far. He can lean back pretty good too. This joint is a little bit stiffer, which is nice, so he will hold those positions. He can party boy back and forth side to side. Waist will rotate all the way around. We've got splits to make Jean-Claude Van Damme jealous. We do have a thigh cut, so you can spin the thigh all the way around, as well as double jointed knees, so you get that large amount of articulation there. We do have a boot cut, so you can spin the boot all the way around at the calf, as well as an ankle swivel, so you can swivel his ankle up and down, and you can rotate it back and forth that way. So there's all of Leech's articulation as far as this version of Leech goes. So we're going to go ahead and get him stood up here if we can. And we'll go over Origins Leech. So Origins Leech feels a little bit hollow in the middle. He doesn't feel as nice as some of the other Origins characters. But boy, does he look like Leech to me. He just screams Leech. And the Horde characters were some of my favorite. Mantenna was my favorite, but Leech was also really cool. He came with these suction cups. You could actually stick him to your window in your house, or any flat, smooth surface. You just get these a little bit wet and he would stick. And they say that this one does the exact same thing. So he's got the sucker head and then the hands and feet as well. So let's go ahead and set him down here. Just kind of suction his foot maybe onto the table. One's working, one's not. Yeah, this one's really suctioned on. It's probably because we got the crack on the other side here, so it's not allowing it. He did come with an additional head sculpt. Now, it looks like we've got some random red paint just kind of splattered onto the head here. That's pretty unfortunate. I might have to take some rubbing alcohol and try to get that off, because it's actually quite a lot. It's not just a little bit of unnoticeable paint. There's a lot, and it's definitely noticeable. This is a really fun sculpt, though. It reminds me a lot of the Masterverse version here. They're pretty similar. Bigger head, though, so big head, big old teeth, looking really good, other than those couple spots of red that somehow found their way onto the top of the head. So we'll set that aside for just a second. Now, his bowcaster looks a little more like this, and his crossbow. So you can see the difference between the Origins style crossbow and the Masterverse. As far as lengthwise, the Origins is actually bigger, and then the width of the actual arms of the bow is a little bigger on the Masterverse version. But the Masterverse version is a much better looking version of that bow. Also for accessories, Leech, this version of Leech did come with these 2 extra hands, and we're not going to be able to swap hands because this version of Leech from Masterverse has the different pegs in his wrists. So these pegs here for the Origins characters are actually going to be too small. I'm going to go ahead and swap out some of the stuff on the Origins Leech real quick. We're going to put on the alternate head and we're going to put in the other hands so we can get a quick look at that. And then we're going to go back into Masterverse Leech and do a little bit of part swapping. So here he is set up with his optional head and hands. And I did go ahead and put the crossbow in his hand as well. This little pad over here sticks really well. As you can see, he is a really cool figure. This does just clip right onto his arm. I just wanted to put that on there for a quick second to show you. And now these are the new hands. If for some reason you did not want the big suction cup-like hands, then you have these 2 additional really weird looking actually hands that will be able to be put on him. So it's up to you which hands you want. I prefer the suction cups. I'm going to keep my Origins Leech as close to the vintage Leech as possible, with possibly the exception of this head. I might keep this head on instead of this head just because the big sucker, it blocks a lot. Excuse me for dropping it. It blocks a lot of the head sculpt, and this one's obviously a little nicer. This is just bringing back that retro vintage vibe, but I think we're going to put the other hands back on him, but we are going to display him with this head. I really hope that that red comes off the top of there. I'm happy with how good this pad sticks, I'll tell you that. I'm going to go ahead and get his hands put back the way that they were. We're going to keep this head on him other than when we are going to try it out on him, but we're going to go over the Masterverse figure now. All right, so looking really good. I love the color. He is darker in the Origins line. It is a darker colored Leech. He is much lighter green than I was expecting, but I actually kind of prefer this shade of green. So I'm not sure how well these head swaps are going to work, but we're going to try that first. We're going to go ahead and just pop off Leech's head, and we're going to pop on the additional head that came with the Origins Leech. All right, now that's not looking too bad. It doesn't match though, which is going to bother me, so I'm not going to be able to keep it on here. He will stay with the Origins figure. I just wanted to show you guys what it would look like, because some people might not have a problem with the darker green. You may put some washes on your figure to darken up the other parts of him, so then that wouldn't really be an issue for you. I'm going to go ahead and pull this head off. We're going to try the suction cup head really quick. So there, if you wanted more of that vintage looking head on your Masterverse Leech, there it is. It does look cool. I feel like it matches the chest harness a little bit better than this one. I feel like, I don't know why, they are the same shade of green. There's just something a little more, a little different tone in this one. I feel like that just matches the chest a little better, but still too dark of green for me to keep him displayed this way. So let's get his original head back on here. We got him all stood up. What I'm going to do now is bring in a couple other Masterverse figures just so we can kind of do a scale comparison, because I know a lot of people was saying that Leech is a lot shorter than the other figures. So I just want to bring a couple of those in so we can get eyes on that for ourselves, and then we'll be to our final thoughts. So here we've got him pulled in next to a few different figures. We'll go ahead and put his chin down because it's kind of making a little bit of an illusion. But here we've got him next to 3 different size figures. We've got He-Man, which is the standard size Masterverse buck and figure. Then over here we have Whiplash, who is a little bit taller. He's got the bigger thighs, the bigger biceps, a little bit bigger figure, and he would be even taller, but his knees do stay at a permanent kind of bend here. They do bend a lot more than this, but he does kind of stay kind of hunched, and he rests on his tail. It helps him a lot as far as standing up goes. So you can see he's smaller than all of these characters. Definitely smaller than old Whiplash, but you can tell that he's smaller than He-Man also. Just for another option, we'll go ahead and bring Evil Lyn in here, and as you can see, he is closer to the height of her. So he's going to be closer in height to the female characters. He's definitely got a bigger, more robust body. But height-wise, he's just not as tall as He-Man or the other figures. And as I said in my toy hunt video, I really like that. I appreciate that. When every single figure is the exact same height, it just makes it look like a row going across, and that's not how people are. We would see variations in height in different people, so I feel like it wouldn't have hurt anything to make He-Man a little taller, Man-at-Arms a little shorter, we got Leech a little shorter, Webster would have been another one that would have been a good figure made in a little bit smaller buck, and then we've got ones like Whiplash and Beastman that have a larger buck, and that fits them really well. So I feel like swapping up the sizes is a good thing, and I'm happy that Leech is actually a little smaller. I figure he should be a little smaller figure. I know that the vintage Leech and this Origins Leech are pretty robust figures. We'll go ahead and just throw him in here for size comparison as well, because he's pretty close to the size of this Origins Leech. He's actually not a lot bigger. So just for comparison wise, I think that it's good to note that he is shorter, and I think that's a good thing. We'll pull him back out now, but he is a different height. I love everything about him. We're going to pull these other guys out of here, go over the final thoughts, and then end this video. I suppose before we go over all of our final thoughts, we better take a quick look at the comic book, which we forgot to do. Masters of the Universe, Night of the Leech. Really cool comic. Looks like he's got his own thing going on here. We're going to open this up, just kind of glance through it a little bit. We got Zodak, we got Buzz-Off, we got Snoutspout, He-Man. There's Leech popping up and grabbing He-Man, just kind of took him under the water. Looks like we got Hordak over here. Let's pull that off the back. Definitely some cool stuff going on. So I like that Leech has his own little comic here. This is pretty interesting. He-Man turns green. I'm going to have to read this because I don't know what's going on here. And now I'm pretty excited and interested to find out the story behind this green He-Man. So really cool. Then we got the wave on the back. So we'll go ahead and get that out of here. But Leech, definitely moving right into one of my favorite places on the Masterverse tier list. He's going to be up there. So as far as other things about Leech that I did forget to go over, and I guess I just messed up his stance there, but both of his arms, so you can remove his hands, and these wrist bracers will come off. So they'll come off on both sides, as well as these shoulder pads. So if you didn't want to display him with those things on, and you just wanted him to have the plain arm, and we'll kind of give you a look at that. Or you could display him kind of in a Man-at-Arms fashion. Do one armored up arm and then one non-armor arm. Really, you can do whatever you want with this guy. I think he does look actually kind of cool with one exposed arm. So I don't even know how I'm going to display this, guys. I'm going to just have to get him up on my shelf and see what looks best with the rest of my Horde figures. But thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on. Most importantly, tell someone that you love them. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you next time.